Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. That was quite posh, wasn't it? Only listen when you can safely close one's eyes. So, what is this that I'm doing? This is Let Me Bore Your Pain Away. And this is number 20, I do believe, in the Let Me Bore Your Pain Away catalogue. So, for those that have listened to any of my other stuff before, never listened to these ones, it is... Oh, yawning then. It is it's a Let Me Bore You to Sleep version of Let Me Bore... Yeah, it's basically, but focusing on chronic pain. So, you know, it's not a sleep recording. You may fall asleep, but it's not for sleeping. It's for changing how you physically feel in that part of your body that may be causing you problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do is focus on head pain. Wherever it may be, whether it's in your eyes, whether it's in your jaw, whether it's in your ears, whether it's in your head, your scalp, whether it's a headache, a migraine. But importantly, only listen to this when you know the cause of that pain and you know that it's chronic pain and nothing else. It's not acute pain, it's nothing serious, okay? Make sure that you get permission from your doctor before you proceed and listen any further from this moment onwards. Right, now that's sorted out. This is gonna be a bit strange. You might not know, because I'm going to talk about a TV show called Wurzel Gummidge. And you may think, that's weird, but don't worry, even if you don't know what the show is, I will explain the show to you. It's one of the most loved shows from my childhood. It was it's about a scarecrow. So if you got any fears of scarecrows, then maybe don't listen to this. I mean, this was a scarecrow that was alive, okay? So, but I mean, there is a new version of Wurzel Gummidge which isn't. It just doesn't look friendly. The old version was friendly. It was like fish smiley, and this new one looks a little bit. It doesn't look. I've not watched the show. It might be a friendly scarecrow, but it doesn't look friendly. It looks a bit, sinister. But the new, the old Wurzel Gummidge, beautiful. Very, very lovely. And had Aunt Sally, who was in there as well. So it was, that's what I'm going to talk about. And you might think, oh, what? How can you talk about Wurzel Gummidge? And what? Talking about a kids' show from the 1980s, well, 70s onwards. How can that help with head pain or headaches or jaw pain? Well, that's the weird thing, because that's what I'm going to attempt in a very, very weird way, I guess. So, So the TV show, that's interesting. Right. Before we start, I'd like you just to get in touch with how you feel. You know, you've got the whatever is going on in your head. Because as I said, it could be, when I'm talking about the head, I'm talking about everything from the neck upwards. The head, you know. Sometimes we think the head and I'm talking about your head, your scalp. But actually the jaw's also the head. The eyes are also the head. The nose, the ears, the mouth, the teeth, the gums, the scalp, the skin, the cheeks. It's all, you know. I realise you don't need an anatomy lesson from someone like me that left school with no qualifications at all. But hey, I thought I'd attempt it. So, before we do anything, and before we do, we're going to sort of focus on how the rest of your body feels, and then I'm just going to chat. What number would you give that feeling? I'm not going to use the word, because this is for chronic pain, but I'm not going to use the word pain anymore after this moment. I'm going to use the word discomfort, or that feeling that you used to have, or that feeling that you're wishing to change. Okay, so if you focus on that feeling that you're wishing to change, you're wishing to reduce, what number would it give it between 0 and 10? 0 being, if it was at 0, you wouldn't even be listening to this. So at 10, if it's 10, that's like, you know, possibly the worst case scenario. So just go where it is now at the moment. And the thing is, even if you have more than one feeling that you're looking to change, when you reduce the physical sensation and change it, when you change it, the rest of your body also has an effect on the rest of your body. You relax your hands and your arms start to relax, and your feet. For some reason, I don't know, it's weird, but like the feet and the hands, for me anyway, whether it's the same for other people, I notice when I relax my hands, my feet also feel relaxed. And when I relax my feet, my hands also feel relaxed. And it's the same way as when I focus on my knees, my elbows tend to also feel relaxed. Or when I think of my knees, my elbows rather, my knees feel relaxed. And then there's the hips. When I focus on my hips, I get a nice feeling in my shoulders of comfort. And the same with when I focus on my shoulders, my hips feel loose. It's kind of weird, isn't it? You know, if I move my fingers around gently and I get a sensation of comfort in my toes. Or if I just wiggle my toes. I don't think wobble's the right word, is it? That's what happens when I attempt to run. So if I wiggle my toes, my fingers tend to feel a bit more relaxed. And the same seems to happen when I focus on my chest. The same, because it's the same movement, because my stomach or my belly or whatever, my huge belly also rises when I breathe in. So my chest goes out that whole area moves and tends to almost feel as one a bit. And then when I focus on my upper back, it affects the back of my neck. It makes the back of, I'm doing it now, so I'm just like, instead of just talking about it, I'm actually doing it while I talk about it. I'm not purposely doing it, it's happening while I talk about it. That's one of those things, when you focus on a part of your body and talk about it feeling relaxed, it tends to just become relaxed because words are powerful. And now, when I focus on the right side of my upper back, the left side, it's almost like the feeling of comfort spreads to the left side. But then I notice the feeling on the left side moving downwards. It's almost like my back is scanning my back itself without me even really doing anything. Because the feelings, it's the comfort, the little bit of comfort I felt in the left side of my upper back then started to move down, but then went very quickly to my lower back, which is where my arthritis is, in my left side of my lower back. And it moved very quickly there, almost like a parent running to help a child that's just fallen over. It's weird. It's like, because really, you think about it, wherever the feeling that you want to change is, it's still only a small portion compared to the rest of your body. And I'm going to include the head in this statement. Because even the head, one of the heads are on its own is, fairly large. Mine's got a massive head. I struggle to, wouldn't be able to fit it through a letterbox, that's for sure. Why would you try and fit your head through a letterbox? But I'm just saying, it's quite big. Got a big old head. And that's what's weird, the neck. It doesn't feel heavy, does it? The head. And you think from the right from birth till now, for all our lives, our neck and our body is supporting our head. Without us having to do anything. Yet, if we had something with the weight of a head, having to carry it around, we'd have to keep putting it down because it's blimmin' heavy. Especially if you're eating, you have to put it, mind you, the idea of carrying a head around is a bit weird, isn't it? It could definitely ruin a wedding, Instead of having someone holding your hand when you're walking down the aisle, you're holding a head. That would be very strange. I'm just saying the weight of a head is quite heavy. But the rest of the body takes that weight. The rest of the body supports the head, like all the time. Even when you're lying down, the neck, is still sending blood and all that stuff to the brain, and your body's still protecting the head. And my stomach's gurgling. It's been doing that twice today. It's done that. Strange. mind you, I think there's something quite nice about eating when I'm hungry rather than if I don't eat when I'm hungry. It feels like, well, maybe I don't need to eat. Am I just eating for the sake of it? Am I just eating it because I just want to try and make myself look even fatter than I already am? Maybe. Because I know how attractive that is to people. From seeing my belly. They see my belly come about a minute before I do. Honestly, it's like so big, my old belly. Anyway, we're not talking about my attractiveness. Can't believe I used to be a model. No one can, because it's a lie. So, Wurzel Gummidge is a TV show. It's basically about I've got it up on Wikipedia just to remind me. I know what it is because it's one of my favourite TV shows. I was just mildly interested because when I talk about something, I start thinking, okay, because I remember watching it, but what year did it start? So it started 1979 to 1981. So that was, but then they did, and I remember this, they refilmed it, or they started again. So 1980, they ended it in 1981. Why? I don't understand why. So anyway, they came out again in 1980. Wurzel Gummidge Down Under, and that was 1987 to 1989. So I used to watch that as well. I'm just thinking maybe that's the one I used to watch. No, I used to watch the original one. I'd watch that as well, but I was older then. I was like 18, 19 back then. But one of the things I liked about Wurzel Gummidge, you might be thinking, why is he talking about a TV show for kids when we're supposed to be focused on the head? The head, man, the head. Okay. Basically, he could take his head off and he could put on different heads for different situations. So I'm just trying to think all the different heads he had. So Wurzel Gummidge's different heads. So he had a lot of different heads. Wurzel Gummidge's collection of heads. There's a video here. I don't want that. Wurzel Gummidge. Okay, it's nothing here, but I can tell you roughly. He had one for thinking. He had one for dancing. He had like the handsome head. He had one for singing, and he just basically had a head for any occasion, which was pretty cool. And I quite like that idea. So the idea may be, because sometimes I think there's one episode where it had enough of the head, because it was a head for thinking, but it was giving him a headache because he was thinking too much, but he couldn't find his other head. And he was getting very tense over the whole thing, and he was getting stressed and anxious, and and eventually, Because I think the kids hid his head, or maybe Aunt Sally, who was his girlfriend, hid the head. And then he got it back and he changed it over, and the relief he had, where he just, basically screwed his new head in, and that stress and tension from his head was gone, like instantly. When he took it off, it was almost like a pressure valve being released. Like I suppose like a kettle, I guess, like an old style kettle, or a radiator when you bleed it, so like start off like, and then it kind of just dies down to just a little. But the beginning of it is quite pressurized. Or a pressure cooker. That's probably the best example, a pressure cooker. But I've never had a pressure cooker. I just never liked the idea of it. I don't know, it's like, here's me trying to relax, focusing, the last 20 years, 30 odd years trying to kind of learn to relax and to be calm. I'm not going to buy something with the word pressure in it. I didn't want a cooking instrument that was going to be stressful. I know that's not what a pressure cooker is, but just the idea of it. I try to avoid any pressure, if at all possible. You can imagine how good that would be if you could just change your head. So instead of having to have everything in one place, change it. So if you've got maybe you got your head for work. So when you get home, you can just unscrew your head and let it rest on the bed, and put on your bed, your head. I was going to say your bed head, maybe your head for when you sleep, or put on your head for when you want to just relax and watch television. A bit like changing your clothes. Getting out of that tight dress or that suit, I know I've got a few female friends, and they say the best thing in the world is just when they get home from work or get home from what they're doing, is just taking off their bra and letting everything just swing around. This is their words, not mine. I was like, and just lounge around in the PJs, relaxing. Now, I don't wear a bra that often, but no, I don't wear a bra. Mind you, I could. Let's not focus on my man boobs for now. So imagine how good it would be if you could just take off your head and let go. Just let go. And that feeling of pressure being released. Just that. Whatever. I'm trying to think of a better sound for pressure being released. What's a better sound? I mean, what comes to mind is like a really, really loud fart. But technically that is pressure being released, but it might not be the one you need. It might not be the sound that you welcome for when you take your head off and relax. So, and also think about it, if that head feels a bit warm, you feel a bit overheated, you can just imagine taking it off and just putting it somewhere cool, somewhere in the shade, somewhere safe in the shade, so it can just cool down. Or in the same way, if your head feels a bit cold, You just put it into the sun. Put it in the sun, maybe on the windowsill if it's a sunny day. Scare the hell out of your neighbours, that's for sure. But that idea, because you know, as soon as you take your head off, whatever's going on in your mind, whatever going on in your face, in your ears, in your eyes, in your jaw, your nose, your scalp, your mind, your brain, will all just instantly disappear. And Vinny will make some weird noises in the background, wanting my attention. That's unlike him. Oh, wait a minute. No, he does it every single time I make a recording. So even it might seem weird, the idea of taking a body part off, although it does remind me a little bit of the Invisible Man. I don't know if anyone watched the show. It was, blimey, it was again like the 70s, 80s. It was, what's his name that was in Sapphire and Steel? He played Sapphire, but he was also in some medical dramas, or police medical dramas, up to recently. Oh, I forget his name. Anyway, he was the Invisible Man, and he took his body off almost like clothes. So he kind of basically, he had this synthetic skin, so he just peeled the skin off, almost like he was wearing hands or arms. He'd just take it off, and the last thing he took off was his head. But it wasn't. It was like his face. So his head was invisible. The rest of his body was invisible. I did used to think, like, why? I mean, he was sure he was a lovely looking man anyway, but if you're going to do that, you might as well play around with what you look like, mightn't you? Just like, okay, I think I'll... Because sometimes I want to have long hair, but I don't want to grow it long. I don't want to put extensions. I don't want to be wearing other people's hair. Ugh. Or you might want to have a beard, a big massive beard, but you don't want to grow it. You don't want to go through the itchy stage. Or maybe you've got a beard and you want to be clean shaven, or you want blonde hair, or blue hair, or you want to. Maybe it's Halloween, you want to look like me. So you could just have all these different masks, different faces, if you was invisible. What is it, Vinny? He's concerned about me because I'm talking about Wurzel Gummidge. Why? There's nothing wrong with talking about Wurzel Gummidge. It's normal. Vinny, it's normal. By the way, Vinny's my little Jack Russell. It's my red-headed Jack Russell. He was 3 at the end of February. Did you know I'm a 48% Irish? I'm telling everyone. Oh, also, I do a Q&A Friday, every Friday. Been doing it for a year now. Can't believe it. Literally a year, exactly. 2 days ago it was a year, but yesterday was Friday. What I've done on my website, jasonnewland.com, I've put at the top a little form you can fill in if you have a question, and I will answer it on Friday. Okay? So it's just thought I'd let you know that. I want to try and remind people. I should have said it at the beginning of the recording, but I was so excited once I started talking about Wurzel Gummidge, it's hard to shut me up. Genuinely love, 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 love. I remember I think Wurzel Gummidge used to be on a Saturday morning, because when I watched it, I probably did watch it when it was on first, in 1979, because I'd been about 8 then. But I watched it throughout the 80s. It's something they would keep showing. It was repeated, which makes you wonder why they took it off in the first place. But maybe that's it. Maybe they thought, well, we'll just show repeats. People are watching the repeats, so why spend money making a new series if people are happy with the repeats? Perhaps. But I really liked it. So there, Vinny, that's my excuse. Who played Aunt Sally? Well, Aunt Sally. Vinny, what are you hassling? He's hassling me now. Aunt Sally was... I know who played Aunt Sally, but Eunice Stubbs. Eunice Stubbs. She's not around anymore. Eunice Stubbs was so good at Aunt Sally. She was very similar to... what's her name? Just reminded me of... do you know Popeye the movie? In fact, also The Shining, the movie The Shining. So Popeye the movie... Popeye film. Okay, here we go. And it had Shelley Duvall. So Shelley Duvall and what's her name in this one, very kind of similar characters, just in the sense of being, I don't know, just reminded me, Eunice Stubbs and Shelley Duvall, just like that really slim but distinctive looking. And I know Shelley was Shelley Duvall. Was she related to the other Duvall? There's quite a few Duvalls, isn't there? Like famous ones. Yeah, okay. So the idea of being able to just change your head, I like that idea. I might be the only one that likes it. I really might be on my own with this, but it's not the first time. I'm often on my own with my ideas. In fact, I'm always on my own with my ideas, but I share them. Whether or not they're useful or not, that's another thing. I mean, it's anyone's guess. I've been making these recordings for 19 years now, and I don't get much feedback, but they're still being listened to. So someone out there is listening. I don't know who. If you are listening, thank you. But there is a purpose for this recording. It might seem like I'm just talking for the sake of it. Well, that's partly true. But it might, there is a reason, and that's for you to feel relief, to feel different from how you felt before. And it can be, I quite like the idea of being surprising. You know that feeling of like, well, actually I do feel different, but how? Why? Why do I feel different? I've just listened to this weird man on a podcast talking about an early 1979 children's television show from England about a scarecrow who takes his head off and has multiple heads that he wears. How? Why? Well, how could that be useful? And when he takes the head off, it releases the pressure. And what? Why? But then you might be thinking, but I do feel different. You do feel different in that part of your body that you wanted to feel different, that you wanted to change. That part of your head that you wanted to feel more relaxed, calmer. It may be your whole head, your eyes, your jaw, your ears, every part of your head feels more relaxed. And that is quite natural. I mean, some of it's just caused because if your body relaxes, your head relaxes. If your head relaxes, your body relaxes. It also causes your mind to slow down. And, and also there's the boredom aspect. Hence, let me bore your, it's the boring part. And that can have an effect because there's nothing tension and stress and discomfort dislikes more than being bored, because they want your attention. No, focus on me, focus on me, focus on me. I'm gonna make you feel this way. I'm gonna give you this horrible sensation, and I want you to focus on it. But then when you focus on me just talking blah 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 blah, that part of your body doesn't like it because you're not giving it attention. A bit like Vinny. I'm not comparing him to a horrible feeling, because he's a lovely feeling. He's a beautiful little doggy, but he wants my attention. But eventually, when he's not getting it, he just goes and relaxes. He's not that bothered. Usually he just falls asleep at my feet because he gets bored listening to me. And then your mind slows down anyway, so that thinking about the part of your body subsides. Thinking about that feeling subsides. The thinking about that sensation that was there before subsides. It reduces. It lessens. I can't think of any other words that mean the same thing. Subsides. I like the word subsides for some reason. I think that's going to be my favourite word of the day. Subsides. 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 Yeah. Did you know that in Greek, men means month? Did you know that? I found it out the other day. It's the only thing I've learnt this week. It might be the only thing I've learnt all year, but for some reason it's stuck in my head. I didn't need to know that though. You probably didn't need to know it either, did you? You may already know it. I mean, maybe you might be Greek. You might know the Greek language. You might already know about men meaning month in Greece. In Greek. I mean, it might be Old Greek. I don't know if it's New Greek. I don't know if there's any such thing as New Greek and Old Greek, as far as the language goes. Yeah, Greece is a language, isn't it? Greek is a language. No, I'm just trying to think if it's still a language. I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I'm going to move on before start getting people contacting me. I live in Greek, and Greece is a language. Like, okay, sorry. I'm ignorant. What do I know? I only just found out what head was. Not head, men. Man, men. Yeah, men. I only found out what month means in Greece. It means head. Men. Why do I keep saying head, men, month? So I can get muddled up between the word head and feet and knees and it's always like moving it and changing how you feel in their head, almost like you're not even like where is the head? Because that's the thing though, isn't it? Because imagine if you keep taking your head off. Let's say you took the one off you've got now and you put on meditation head. Just imagine putting on, I'm going to imagine it as well, just that calm head. So I'm going to take the one off I got now, and I'm going to put, instantly in my face, I can feel calm. Now, I'm being honest here as well. I can feel my brain peace. It's like this peace. This is really weird. I've never done this before. So I've got my meditation head on. And the whole of my head, my eyes, I can't even hardly even feel my eyes. All my face is, I know it's there. And I'm talking, so I can feel, I'm talking, I can't feel my jaw moving really. It's like it's smooth, it's all smooth and relaxed. That's quite nice. God, I wish someone had told me about this. Oh, I can actually feel, it's almost like I can feel it in my brain. I mean, of course, the brain doesn't have any nerve endings or any physical sensations in the actual brain. So the biggest part of your head doesn't have any physical sensation whatsoever. Because the brain has no nerve endings. There's nothing there. Well, in my case, there actually might not be much there, but there is the brain. So you can't actually have anything discomfort in that part of the head. But it feels light. It feels. I was watching a thing about, I was listening to people talking about colonic irrigation the other day. I think it was last night or the night before. And you may be wondering, how on earth have I got to colonic irrigation after talking about the brain and having a meditation head on? Well, these people, they were talking about the relief there is on the body after having colonic irrigation, and it releases all kind of waste and stuff and actually helps to purify and, I don't know, detox and relax the body even more, and the mind as well, and the brain and the body, the head. And I was just thinking that this is almost like a detox, an instant detox of your head, by just wearing the meditation head for a short time. I mean, I guess really it's up to you how long you wear it for. This feels nice. Blimey. I'm just waiting as the feelings in their head start to trickle down into the other parts of my body. Because, at the moment, my head feels way better than the rest of my body, but it's now starting to spread that feeling of, I don't know what to call it. Maybe pleasure even. But it's definitely looseness. It's the opposite to pressure. Floppy, maybe. Although I'm very immature and I say the word floppy and it kind of makes me smile for some reason. Floppy. Floppy. It's just a weird word, isn't it? Floppy. And I'm 54 years old, and I'm still amused by the word floppy. Maybe it's saying it out loud, floppy, and the more I say it, the more it just seems like a ridiculous word. Floppy. Floppy. Yeah, it's weird. Strange. That's nice. It's a nice feeling. Because when I talk about stuff, I like to test it out myself. We're all different, but this is how I'm feeling. Sometimes I get the sense from when someone's listening to me, if I sat here saying, oh, now you're going to relax your eyes and you're going to notice that your eyes become heavier, and the more relaxed your eyes become, the more relaxed your jaw becomes. And if I start saying stuff like that, and all the tension and pressure just is released through the top of your head, just floats away like clouds on a windy day. So if I was to say stuff like that, but the whole time all I was doing was sitting here knitting a jumper for an elephant, completely like not engaged in what I'm actually talking about, I kind of get a sense that, well, firstly, you'd probably hear the knitting needles clicking together, and secondly, it'd be probably the longest recording in history, because I don't know if you know anything about knitting, but to do even if just a baby elephant, it would take ages, because the problem is the proportions, and you have to kind of decide, well, do you want to include a hood? Do you want to include it like being like a onesie that also goes all the way down its legs and its arms? What about the tail? Maybe make a hole for the tail, or do you want to cover the tail up? But that would be a bit restricted, wouldn't it? I think if I was an elephant, I would want my tail to be able to be free, to just wiggle about, or to be floppy if it wants to be floppy. So there'd be quite a lot of thought involved in knitting that elephant's jumper or onesie. Do I make little booties? Well, obviously not little booties, but booties for the elephant. And then what colour do I do? Because there's no way of knowing. There's something you need to, if you're ever in this position and you're going to knit an item of clothing for any animal, really, it's not just elephants, but there's a degree of consideration, I think, required. Go and ask them, because they might not want the jumper, and that's a lot of work, and it's also a little bit embarrassing. You travel all the way to the jungle in another country to give, or a forest or wherever, a desert, I don't know what, it depends what animal it is, doesn't it? The rainforest, and you spend months tracking down the animal just so you can present this gift. And what if it doesn't like it? What if the colour's wrong? Or is like, because imagine you hand over the gift to a monkey, and the monkey says, yeah, but if you, it's hot enough already, I've got fur. I don't actually need fur, it's too hot for fur. Why am I going to wear a cardigan on top of that? And that could be embarrassing in front of all the other monkeys. In fact, it could embarrass the monkey himself, and he might not like it, he might not take it very well. And the last thing you want to do is upset a monkey, because you know what? They never forgive you. You'll be lucky to ever get another Christmas card or birthday card from that monkey again after that. They may reluctantly turn up at your wedding, you know, because you're an old friend, known them for a long time. Like, okay, well, I better turn up for the wedding, but other than that, you'd have to work quite hard to get back that trust. You'd have to promise never to do anything like that again. Even though in the back of your mind you're thinking, whoa, you just didn't like the colour of the jumper. What if I did a different colour? I'll just do a different colour. That'll be fine. Or I'll just bring it when it's winter. You'll like it in the winter. But maybe it's, you should listen. Maybe, I don't know. So with all that being said, that if I'm thinking about stuff like that, I might not be in tune with you who's listening to me. When I'm thinking and I'm focusing on how nice it feels. Oh, I'm back there again. Wow, this is nice. With that meditation head on, which I am right now. That tingly feeling, comfort. I almost feel like with my voice I can spread that feeling to you who's listening right now, so that your head also feels the same. And it's almost like that connection, energetic connection. However weird that might sound, but we all know energy is real. Ah. I do like this meditation head. I mean, there's part of me, to be honest, thinking this could be a shortcut. I could just, take my old head off, put my meditation head on, and instantly feel more relaxed. You instantly feel calmer. Instantly let go of that pressure that was there before. You're instantly more peaceful. I'm wondering if I can get away with saying the word instantly a few more times, or perhaps I should just leave it there before you start noticing. And now I'm thinking I wish I hadn't mentioned it, because you might not have noticed it if I hadn't mentioned it. I'd said the word so many times. I mean, I said quite a few words. Subsiding. Floppy. So there's been a few words of the day that have come up. I'm not sure which. I mean, I thought subsiding would be a good word for the day, but maybe floppy. Floppy subsiding. Subsiding floppy. No, don't really go together, do they? Ah, maybe we can play around with heads. Maybe if you find a gratitude head, maybe there's a head just for gratitude where you feel grateful for what you've got. So take off the meditation head and then just put on, in your mind, put on the gratitude head. Okay. Hmm. It's kind of strange to look. I've got my eyes closed, but to think with gratitude, like, what am I grateful for? And the weird thing about it, instead of having to think of things I'm grateful for, with this gratitude head on, I'm kind of grateful for everything. I'm just grateful. That's a nice feeling. I like that. Huh. You're just grateful for life, for whatever, without needing to be specific. That's a very positive head. I like that. Hmm. Oh, yeah, it's nice. It also, what I've noticed, it sort of still kept some of those feelings. Maybe they moved to my body, the feelings of meditation, calmness, relaxation. It's like a crossover. So I'm going to put the meditation one on again. So take this one off, put the meditation one on again. Okay. That's very relaxed. Yeah, that's nice. I like this. Ah. So what you can do is you can mix and match, but you know something else you can do? A little bit like we were talking about the Invisible Man earlier, where he was invisible, so he put a mask on his face, but it looked like human. So what you can do is you can take the meditation head off, put your normal head back on, but then to the side of you, you can just imagine putting that meditation mask over your head. To instantly calm your head, your mind, so that you feel relaxed and loose and peaceful. And it becomes part of you. That looseness, that peacefulness. Oh, that's nice. I like that. can play around with these heads. Play around with the idea. Let me know how you get on. And before I bring this recording to an end, notice what number you are now from 0 to 10. Notice how much it's gone down, how much it's changed. And maybe how surprised you are. Now, thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.